Mims, and Johnny Taylor will be the forwards. UTC, under the direction of head coach Matt McCarthy, an outstanding record at Chattanooga, 206 wins, 101 losses. He has taken his team to 5 consecutive Southern Conference regular season titles and 3 straight appearances in the NCAA. Now for the Nittany Lions of Penn State, Pete Lisicky and Dan Earl will start at the guard positions. They have had an outstanding start. Calvin Booth, the redshirt freshman, will start at center. Matt Gaudio and Glenn Sekunda will start at the forward spots. And there's a look at first-year head coach Jerry Dunn, off to a 5-0 start. He was an assistant under Bruce Parkhill for 12 seasons here in Happy Valley. We'll be back with more after these messages from your local station.
Discover the amazing training secrets of America's finest baseball school with Dynamic Practice Organization, a revolutionary new instructional videotape. Dynamic Practice Organization features professional scout and instructor Tommy Mansky with his famous building block approach to athletic training. This exciting instructional videotape features the same drills, techniques, and methods that have produced baseball world's back-to-back-to-back AAU national championship teams. Dynamic Practice Organization makes any coach look like a genius and organizes offensive and defensive practices that players of all ages and ability levels can't wait to attend. And immensely improves team communication skills and even conditioning. This is the instructional video that's a winner. To order your copy for only $29.95, have your credit card ready and call toll-free, 1-800-282-5020. The Dynamic Practice Organization teaching video makes a great gift, too. Call now, 1-800-282-5020.
Better inside as we get set for the Moccasins of UTC and the Nittany Lions of Penn State. And a good December crowd on hand to see these two teams battle. Not a traditional matchup and an intersectional clash here in December. And Bruce, a lot of people may not really understand how successful UTC has been the last 10 or 12 years.
Frank, they have been a perennial power in the Southern Conference, which is a solid basketball conference, and they have participated in the NCAA tournament on a pretty regular basis. They have real good tradition.
The Moccasins controlling the ball. This is Wes Moore, the point guard out front. Earl defensively on Moore as the Nittany Lions start man-to-man. This is Scott over to Taylor. And he hits the long shot from the wing. Johnny Taylor with a 3 to start UTC.
UTC was running what they call a flex offense, Frank, which is a structured offense involving some back screens and down screens, and they executed very well.
Pressure in the backcourt. Sekunda with the ball for the Nittany Lions. Sekunda will shoot the 3. Gaudio with a rebound.
That's been a real strength of Penn State thus far this season.
And another chance for Sekunda, and he doesn't miss twice in a row very often, and we have a tie game at 3 apiece.
Well, you give a team like Penn State 2 opportunities in the way they can shoot the ball, they're going to cash in on most of the time.
Penn State has been a great offensive rebounding team here early in the year. And Jerry Dunn talked about how the shooters get more and more confidence when they know that if a miss occurs, they might get it back. Here's Booth with a rebound off the miss for the Nittany Lions, and Penn State pushing up the floor.
Calvin affected that shot.
Lisicky with a quick trigger. Bingo.
Well, Peter's picking off where he left off in Atlantic City.
He has been on fire since the season started. 35 points at Penn last week, and the week layoff hasn't slowed him down here early. This
Good
is Moore
defense.
trying to feed into the post. Excellent defense by the Nittany Lions.
Chattanooga ran a back screen. Penn State switched on it and caused them problems. That was a nice job defensively.
18-19 to play first half. Penn State leading at 6-3. We've had 3 baskets in the game, and all have been 3-pointers.
This is more of a containment press than an all-out pressure press. Trying to set a little bit of tempo, make Penn State work the ball a little bit.
Lisicky.
Now they're going to try to get out and play Peter tough wherever he is.
Earl, he can shoot from the perimeter as well. Almost lost it, and Penn State will maintain possession.
That's still a good move by Danny, even though he had problems with that. He was attacking the defense, and it was a good judgment, I thought.
UTC, as we were saying earlier, a very athletic team. They have several new faces. 6 junior college transfers on the squad. Sometimes it takes a while for the chemistry to come together when you have that many new people.
Well, that's right. I think Mack really doesn't expect the team to gel until January.
The Moccasins try to run more quickly across the timeline. He'll let it go. Danny Earl with a rebound. And Penn State running the other way.
Oh, Calvin running the floor. That's one of his strengths, Frank. He can run the floor with the best of the big guys. You know, he's not a bulky player, but he's a mobile player.
Booth has been a very pleasant surprise for Penn State here early, and here he goes out on the break, Bruce.
Well, Calvin won't outmuscle you, but he can outrun you. He gets position, takes advantage of it, takes it right to the defense, which is a great job.
Booth misses the first shot.
He's been shooting well from the line.
Calvin has hit just under 80% of his free throws this year. And he gets the second one. 7-3, Penn State by 4.
Chattanooga's going to run a set play. Staggered screen.
This is Oliver missing. Sekunda with a rebound.
Nice job.
Earl to Lisicky. He's free, and he's got it.
Can't leave him open.
6 points for Pete Lisicky. The Nittany Lions jump out to a 10-3 lead. And Lisicky with 6 points on a pair of threes. Taylor has only touched the ball one time for UTC here in the first 3.5 minutes. Oliver on the drive. Nice hang time and scores.
Well, that's another way to attack the defense. You can run plays and screens to attack it, or you can attack it by the dribble, and that was a great job by Oliver that time.
First basket for John Oliver, and now Penn State throws it away, and UTC will get it back. Willie Young now will come into the Chattanooga lineup, a 6'2 junior from Norfolk, Virginia.
Well, Willie didn't play against UAB, and Mack McCarthy thinks he's one of the keys to his team. A very talented player that hasn't really found himself yet this year.
This is Young on the drive and shooting the jumper that misses. Taylor fighting for the rebound, still loose. And we have a jump ball situation.
1st and 10. That was great hustle by both clubs, Frank. Both teams have guys down on the floor.
Both of these teams can fly around toward the basket. And watch Taylor here.
UT Chattanooga is getting more aggressive on the offensive boards, but both teams really getting after it here.
15:59 to play first half. Penn State leading 10-5. Sekunda thought about it. Now they go inside to Booth. Booth will shoot in traffic and miss. Young with a rebound. Young against Earl, lost the handle, but Taylor recovers.
Penn State in straight man-to-man.
Big defensive matchup for Glenn Sekunda, trying to handle Johnny Taylor.
Yes, it is.
And here's Taylor shooting. Booth high in the air, off to Earl. Gaudio in traffic, bustling up the shot and scoring.
Great job by Matt to take it right to the basket. Didn't try to finesse anybody, just took it right to the rim. If they try to block a shot, more than likely he's going to get fouled. Great job.
That's the first bucket for Matt Gaudio, who averages almost 13 a game. Very balanced scoring attack for the Nittany Lions. 5 players in double figures.
That's very tough to play against.
Mims down low, and Booth smothered that one. That ball was almost deflated by that block.
Yeah.
14:50 to play in the first half. The Nittany Lions lead it 12-5. We'll be back.
When you only do sports, you have to do it right. Sports Channel brings you sports the way they're meant to be seen. Everything from your hometown team to great games from across the globe. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's all sports, all the time. And if it's sports, it must be Sports Channel.
1995 marks the 100th season of Big Ten Conference football action. Celebrate the centennial anniversary of the Big Ten by ordering this commemorative home video chronicling 100 years of football and men's basketball. For just $19.99, you can relive the rich tradition and proud legacy of gridiron legends from Grange to Griffin and basketball greats such as Lucas, Magic, and the Fab Five. To order, call 1-800-BIG-TEN-4 or send $19.99 plus $5 shipping and handling to the address shown.
You have to do it right. Sports Channel brings you sports the way they're meant to be seen. Everything from your hometown team to great games from across the globe. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's all sports, all the time. And if it's sports, it must be Sports Channel.
Welcome back to Rec Hall. The Nittany Lions with the early 7-point lead. And early in the season, Bruce, it has not taken Calvin Booth long to establish himself as a dominant shot blocker.
Well, here he comes from behind and really puts the icing on the cake to the Penn State defense. Glenn did a nice job challenging the shot, and then Calvin put it away. I told people last year that I thought Calvin would lead the country in block shots at some point in time before he graduates, and I certainly think that still holds true. I think he's got a great chance to do that within the next year or two.
Has he come along even quicker than anyone might have expected?
Not really, Frank. We really thought he was a good prospect out of high school and just needed some experience and some strength.
Ball was loose and a foul on Gaudio. Tough luck foul trying to reach in and come up with a loose ball. So UTC will have it down by 7. Wes Moore, one of the few true freshman recruits that wears the blue and gold for UTC this year, youngster from Chattanooga.
Well, he's a good story. He was a walk-on, and he's done a great job for him. There was a nice set play off stagger screen. They converted very well.
Taylor around the screen with his second 3 of the game. 12-8 is our score now. Sekunda in some trouble to Lisicky. Here's Booth, left hand, got it.
That's a great give up by Pete. Pete could have taken that shot. He went inside to Calvin, and he took it to the hoop.
First bucket of the game for Booth, and his 3rd point. Penn State by 6. Moore against Earl, looking for Taylor again. Taylor popping out against Lisicky. And on the drive, lost it for a moment. Last touch by a Nittany Lion, it will be the Moccasins' ball.
That was great post defense by Mack Gaudio. They wanted to isolate and jam it inside. Matt did a great job.
Marquis Collier in now for the Moccasins. And Booth comes up with a basketball. Here's Earl on the run to Lisicky. Doesn't take him long to get set, and he's got another one. That's the 3rd 3 of the game for Pete Lisicky. 9 points for the sophomore, and Penn State leads it by 9.
Now, Danny Earl sees the floor as well as any point guard in the country.
This is Willie Young now running the point out to Chris Mims. UTC will run a lot of players in and out throughout the game, and they will also juggle their starting lineups quite a bit here early in the year, trying to find the right combination. And a traveling calls. Oliver got kind of caught off guard.
Yeah, those are the kind of things that Mack's going to have to live with, at least for the first month and a half of the season, because they have a lot of new faces, and they're trying to blend them together and get the guys to understand where the other guys are going to go on the floor and mesh together. But it'll come.
You see the turnovers. Chattanooga off to a 2-3 start this year, and turnovers have caused them problems.
Yeah, and that's typical of a young team, Frank.
Their wins were over USC, Aiken, and Cumberland. They've lost to Marshall, Alabama State, and Alabama Birmingham. Sekunda missing in traffic.
Now that was a good look by Penn State. They got a good shot off their offense, and it just didn't go. But that was a nice series.
This is Young now trying to set the offense. Penn State man-to-man defensively. 12:32 to play first half. The Lions leading by 9. Here's Taylor. could not get it to fall, and Earl comes away with it.
Those are the shots that need to go down for Chattanooga. Taylor just not hitting the ball, hitting shots well from three-point range right now.
Danny Earl, with one of his rare mishandles of the basketball, gives it back to the Moccasins. Donovan Williams now coming in. Glenn Sekunda will lead. So a smaller lineup now on the floor for the Nittany Lions, but this is a group that has played well together this year.
Yes, they have a lot of experience, and Donovan has done a nice job giving the team a lift coming off the bench. Well, they're going to try to isolate Donovan inside after they got him posted up the bigger guard, ran him down on the block, and Donovan got caught behind.
Well, Taylor goes about 6'8". Donovan around 6'2", and Taylor immediately trying to use that height to his advantage down low.
That was a smart play.
Taylor, a junior college transfer, has been called by NBA super scout Marty Blake as another Scottie Pippen. There's a block again by Booth. Earl is left open, and he's got it. Wow. This backcourt is on fire.
Well, Frank, they can hurt you a lot of different ways.
And UTC wants a timeout. 11:46 to play. The Nittany Lions have opened up a 12-point lead here in the first half. We'll be back after this.
In the good old days, they played on clay and dirt, and they played their hearts out in dusty, cramped arenas and great old buildings that still echo with their memories and a history we'll never forget. History means a lot to us at Core States because our history of service to your banking needs goes back a long way, too. But it's much more than just a memory of service that's even more important to us today than it was back in the good old days.
Weekends were made for sports, and New Sport, your source for sports news and information, covers all the weekend action with so many games. Who has the time to catch them all? Now you do with Scoreboard Central, your weekend spot on the dial for all the scores, highlights, and more. Scoreboard Central, no more waiting. Get what you want when you want it. Informative and timely. Scoreboard Central.
Let's go to Josh in the Northeast. Go to Frank in Orland. Go to Joanne in South Philadelphia. We have Larry in Glenside. Let's go to Brian in Booth. Let's go to Ted from West Philly. Let's go to Pat in Richboro. Let's go to Casey in King of Prussia. John in Media. And let's go to John in Horsham. Mike in Center City. Hi, Mike. You're on Monday Night Live. Let's go to John in Bridgeton, New Jersey. Now go back to the phone. John in Maple Shade. Hi, Connie in Lindenwall. Mike in Springfield. Let's go to Ted from West Philly. Down the shore. John in Summers Point. Let's go to Josh in the Northeast. Let's go to Frank in Orland.
Welcome back to Rec Hall. Frank Gardenia and Bruce Parkhill and the Penn State Nittany Lions getting it done at both ends of the floor here in the first half. Lead by 12. A block by Calvin Booth, setting the defensive tone. And then on the other end, Penn State has hit 5 3-pointers here in the first half. 3 by Pete Lisicky and 1 coming up by Danny Earl.
That's what makes Penn State so dangerous, Frank. Glenn Sekunda can hit the 3, Danny can hit the 3, Pete Lisicky can hit the 3, and Donovan Williams can hit the 3. They can put some guys out there that can just really extend the defense and make it difficult for the guard.
The Nittany Lions are leading the nation in 3-point field goal percentage. Off to a sizzling start. At some point, you wonder if that number can hold up.
Yeah, you do. But, you know, the one thing that I think Penn State brings to the table this year is I really believe that they're going to be able to have at least one guy who will be hot from 3 every game, and most of the time 2. And that's really difficult to contend with from a defensive perspective.
There's Big Phil Williams checking into the lineup. Another guy who has helped this team in many ways, has been a real solid rebounder, averaging almost 8 rebounds a game.
I think he's doing a terrific job this year, Frank. He's had a great game down at Penn.
Well, and he sets very strong picks, which enable shooters to get open at every point of the floor.
You know, Phil knows his role. He knows he's to rebound, defend, and screen, and convert power moves.
UTC in a zone, in a very aggressive zone that time, coming up with a loose ball.
And that was a good defensive set for UTC, and they had to have a good set to try to get some momentum back.
Pat Henderson is checked in now for the Moccasins as well. Wes Moore also returning. Matt McCarthy did not appear too pleased with his offensive ball movement prior to the timeout. Trying to get stability back in the lineup. Henderson lost the handle. Earl commits the foul.
Well, Penn State escaped an easy layup there when Henderson mishandled the ball, and Danny got called for the reach-in trying to help out.
Danny Earl, good example of a guy who plays outstanding team defense.
Yes, he does.
Here's Henderson. Booth got a piece of that one. But followed up and in by Collier. That's his first bucket of the game, and it's 20-10.
When there's a shot blocker in the game, both teams need to be aware to go after the ball after the shot is blocked. A lot of times you can convert offensively off of that. Certainly from a defensive perspective, you want to get it and break out.
The Nittany Lions will inbound. Donovan Williams will trigger it in. Well, Booth has done a good job of being a factor inside defensively already with 3 blocks, and he's done it avoiding fouls as well. He's not picked up a personal in this game.
Yeah, he's doing a great job.
Lisicky off the dribble. Couldn't get that one to go, and here come the Moccasins. 9:48 to play. First half. Taylor off balance shot.
That's a tough shot.
Lisicky with a rebound.
Good job by Donovan defensively.
And Williams is grabbed that time by Oliver.
Well, that time Penn State ran their secondary break, and Donovan came off a screen, curled off the screen, and it was a good look.
Jeremy Metzger checking in, the junior from Erie. And Sekunda returns for the Nittany Lions. Booth and Donovan Williams will leave.
Looks like Donovan hurt his thumb.
Scott returns for UT Chattanooga, Julian Scott. And Damien McKnight now will come in for Penn State for the first time. Pretty good first half thus far. Only the second team foul on UTC. Only 3 on Penn State here in the half. They're letting him mix it up a little bit. Sekunda, Bruce mentioned he is a guy who can also pop the 3. Lisicky for a 2. And rebound Taylor.
He was a little off balance on that shot.
Sekunda knocked it away from Taylor. Williams with it to McKnight. McKnight on the run. Sekunda is fouled by Johnny Taylor.
That was a good kick ahead by Damien McKnight. Damien is really good in the open floor, and I think as the season progresses, Penn State fans will see him become more confident and more effective in the open floor.
Well, McKnight was really starting to come into his own last January when he was injured and missed the rest of the season.
Yeah, that was a shame.
Sekunda now with his free throw has his 4th point of the game. Glenn shooting just over 67% from the charity stripe on the year. Hits them both, and Penn State leads it by 12 again. 5 points now for Sekunda. He averages just under 13 a game. McKnight defending against Moore.
Good help by Phil Williams on the cutter.
Taylor over Lisicky. He's got it. So Taylor with 8 points, and it's 22-12.
Taylor has the ability to take his defender one-on-one and convert. He's very talented.
Phil Williams almost lost it, gets it to McKnight. Metzger down low, and he's going to be called for traveling.
Even though Jeremy traveled on that play, it was a good move. He was trying to take it to the rim, trying to finish, as opposed to fading away and trying to shoot over the defender. I think that is a good sign that he's trying to take it strong.
Metzger played his high school ball at McDowell High School in Erie, and they are currently ranked #1 in the state of Pennsylvania in the Quad A rankings. A fact that Jeremy doesn't mind pointing out to some of his teammates with some regularity.
That's right.
This is Scott against Metzger, and a 5-second count. It goes back to the Nittany Lions.
Yeah, that's inexperience right there. The UTC offense stalled, and that's when you need to create off the dribble or get some more movement, and instead the UTC players stood and played right into Penn State's hands, and that's a sign of inexperience.
Bit of confusion. They called a foul on Johnny Taylor, but the 5-second count was before the foul, so Taylor will not be whistled for the foul. Sekunda now fouled by Taylor, and that one will count. But Johnny Taylor picks up his 2nd personal.
Now that's the kind of foul you don't like to see as a coach, because It's 30 feet from the basket, and there's no threat to the defense. It's an unnecessary foul.
Sekunda with a quick shot. Rebound ran down by Mims. Just under 8 minutes remaining first half. Penn State leading it 22-12. Moore will shoot. Rebound off to Scott, and the little jump hook is good for Julian Scott. Julian Scott had 13 rebounds in the loss to UAB earlier this week as his first bucket of the night.
Chattanooga's going to have to stick some back if they're missing from the perimeter. If they want to stay in the game.
Lisicky getting a lot more defensive attention now on the perimeter. Here's McKnight with penetration, and he's got it. That's part of the things that he brings to the table,
Yes,
Bruce.
it is. He's very good at taking his man off the dribble and penetrating and creating.
First bucket for Damien, 24-14 Nittany Lions. Knight avoids the screen. Here's Moore on the drive. Nice play by Wes Moore. 24-16, and a near steal in the backcourt and a foul. Foul on Damien. Wes Moore with a steal, and Damien McKnight picks up the personal.
Heads up play by Moore there, Frank.
Very heady player. A timeout is taken with 6:56 to play in the first half. Penn State leading at 24-16, and we'll be back in just a minute.
History teaches primordial perspiration shouldn't mess with one's style. Consider this powerful discovery. Right Guard Pure Power Clear Gel. An astoundingly clear gel. Thus, it goes on clear without any flaky white stuff, protecting one powerfully. For when it comes to protection, one shouldn't mess around. Right Guard Clear Gel. Anything less would be uncivilized.
Discover the amazing training secrets of America's finest baseball school with Dynamic Practice Organization, a revolutionary new instructional videotape. Dynamic Practice Organization features professional scout and instructor Tommy Mansky with his famous building block approach to athletic training. This exciting instructional videotape features the same drills, techniques, and methods that have produced baseball world's back-to-back-to-back AAU national championship teams. Dynamic Practice Organization makes any coach look like a genius and organizes offensive and defensive practices that players of all ages and ability levels can't wait to attend. And immensely improves team communication skills and even conditioning. This is the instructional video that's a winner. To order your copy for only $29.95, have your credit card ready and call toll-free, 1-800-282-5020. The Dynamic Practice Organization teaching video makes a great gift, too. Call now, 1-800-282-5020.
Welcome back to Rec Hall. Penn State leading by 8. The Nittany Lions with good depth in their backcourt this year, Bruce, going into the Big Ten, and one of those players is Damien McKnight.
Frank, Damien's game really is to dribble penetrate. He's very good at that. He's more of a streak shooter. He's not a real pure shooter, but he can score off the jump shot, but he's great at breaking his man down off the dribble.
UTC with the ball, inbound to Oliver. Down to Mims. Mims in traffic, shoots and scores. Alternate
Nice
shot.
play. Nice play by UTC. They really penetrated the defense well that time. Got an easy basket.
Mims had to alter his shot around Booth, and he did so nicely. 24-18. Danny Earl back in now for the Nittany Lions. Talking about Damien McKnight and Danny Earl, Bruce, they are different styles of players, and that gives the opposing team some problems, too, when you have some different looks, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Damien's more athletic than Danny. They both have significant strengths in their own way. I think if Damien can play with a little more confidence as the year progresses, he's really going to add a lot to the team.
Nittany Lions give it back now to UTC after the turnover by Sekunda, and here come the Moccasins with a chance to cut it to 4 and possibly 3. They trailed by 12 at one point. Connor in the game now, number 5 of the basketball. Out to Oliver.
Connor didn't finish his cut off that screen, or he would have had an open opportunity.
Oliver missing, and the ball is off the hands of Matt Gaudio. Will be UTC's ball. Inbound to Connor. Connor, a freshman from Powell, Tennessee, over to Oliver. The Moccasins showing some patience here, down by 6. Sekunda on Young. There's about 9 inches in height differential there. There's Connor forcing up a shot. Rebound tip to Sekunda.
Connor wasted his dribble there. He didn't attack the defense with his dribble, and then he got himself in trouble and had to take a tough shot.
Earl looking inside, almost found Gaudio, but decided against it. Now he'll set up the Penn State offense.
Got a set play out of the timeout. Duck in on Calvin.
Left-hand shot.
That's a set play to go to Calvin Booth and get him a power move, and they executed very well.
Bruce, he is so smooth. I mean, he is has a great touch off the glass.
Yes, he does. He's got great hands. Good timing.
5 points for Booth, 8-point Nittany Lion lead. Scott brings Booth out away from the basket, gives it to Connor. Sekunda takes it away, still loose, and Connor gets it back. Mims is called for the travel. Very ragged possession for Matt McCarthy's Moccasins that time.
Well, they're going to have quite a few spells like that. That was great hustle by Connor to get that ball back.
Sekunda, that's the second time he has disrupted the dribble. Earlier it was Johnny Taylor. That time it was Connor, and ultimately it forced a turnover.
Yeah, I think Money Brown must have indicated to Glenn Sekunda that Connor likes that crossover dribble.
Earl looking inside for Booth again. Now some penetration. Dumps
Nice
up to Sekunda, and Sekunda with a tough basket.
Danny Earl set that one up. That's a terrific job. Penetrating, drawing, and giving it up.
28-18, the Nittany Lions by 10. Earl now with 5 assists here in the first half. Scott with a jump hook is good.
I think he caught Calvin off guard. I think Calvin thought he was going to take it to him, and he faded away and flipped up a little hook shot. It was a nice shot.
4 points for Scott. Penn State by 8. Here comes Earl against Young. And then some contact there and a foul on Moore. Rather.
Change of pace dribble by Danny. Got Moore off balance and then attacked him.
Young will now come in for the Moccasins. And a timeout will be taken with 3:48 to play in the first half. Penn State leading it by 8. We'll be back with more after these messages from your local station.
When you only do sports, you have to do it right. Sports Channel brings you sports the way they're meant to be seen. Everything from your hometown team to great games from across the globe. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's all sports, all the time. And if it's sports, it must be Sports Channel.
On clay and dirt, and they played their hearts out in dusty, cramped arenas and great old buildings that still echo with their memories and a history we'll never forget. History means a lot to us at Core States because our history of service to your banking needs goes back a long way too. But it's much more than just a memory. It's a tradition of service that's even more important to us today than it was back in the good old days.
Weekends were made for sports. And New Sport, your source for sports news and information, covers all the weekend action with so many games. Who has the time to catch them all? Now you do with Scoreboard Central, your weekend spot on the dial for all the scores, highlights, and more. Scoreboard Central. No more waiting. Get what you want when you want it. Informative and timely. Scoreboard Central.
Game without the express prior written consent of Creative Sports is prohibited. Interested observer here in Rec Hall, as always, Nittany Lion head football coach Joe Paterno. Bruce, he'll be taking his team south to Florida here in a couple of days for a bowl date.
That's right. They did a terrific job this year, Frank. They came back strong. I thought they really finished very well, and I thought the coaches and the players did a great job this year.
Pete Lisicky has just buried another 3. If you blink, you miss it. He's got 12 points now here in the first half, all from 3-point range, and Penn State leads it by 11. Lisicky makes the basket look about 10 feet wide.
Yeah, he sure does. Got a quick release.
Mims against Booth, and Booth with his 4th block of the game. Great body control by Booth. Here's Gaudio inside. He's got it.
Ahead. That's a great look ahead by Danny Earl. It's a great job running the floor by Matt Gaudio. All set up by Calvin Booth's great block.
The Nittany Lions pushing at that time, lead it now by 13. The quick shot by Young. Mims had the rebound. Lisicky took it away. Here comes Penn State again. Earl pushing once more. Gaudio for a 3. He's got it.
Matt Gaudio loves that.
That is the first 3-point make of the year for Gaudio. Only his 3rd attempt. And UTC wants a timeout. It is 36-20. Penn State leading it now with 2:42 to play. And everyone for Penn State shooting well from the 3-point arc today.
Yeah, that's, boy, when Matt Gaudio starts knocking, when you have your forwards and you got guards now, you got your 4-man knocking down 3s. That spells a long day for UT Chattanooga if that keeps up.
When you look at how well Penn State is shooting as a team from the 3-point line, one of the reasons, Bruce, is that the right guys, for the most part, are the only ones that take the 3s. At that time, right. Gaudio's not a guy that typically is in that role. He buries one.
Well, you know, Matt has a pretty nice looking shot. And when he picks and chooses his opportunities, he'll hurt you.
So the Nittany Lions coming out and running off 8 straight points. 2 3s by Gaudio and Lisicky mixed in there.
Penn State switched up defenses now in the zone.
Connor to shoot over the zone as UTC tries to regroup. Rebound Jarrett Stephens, the freshman who just checked in. Here's a quick pass to Booth in the dunk.
Another great look ahead. Another great job of running the floor by the big guy.
The alley-oop from Danny Earl to Calvin Booth. It wasn't a pass thrown unusually high, but Calvin made the adjustment and slammed it through. A 10-0 run now for the Nittany Lions. Moore dumping for Oliver, lost the handle. Loose ball, Danny Earl tips it away, still loose. Out of bounds to Penn State.
Great job helping out that time by Calvin Booth.
Bruce, talking about Jarrett Stephens checking into the lineup, it's good to see him there. There was some concern that he might not be able to play. He injured his ankle on Friday, and at first look, it appeared to be fairly serious.
Yeah, I really like Jarrett. I think he's going to be a heck of a player, and the more experience he can get now in December, the better off the team is going to be when it gets down to Big Ten play, and the games get more intense. Depth is really a factor in the Big Ten, and I think this year is the first year that Penn State is going to have really quality depth.
All indications early, this is a very exciting, well-balanced Penn State team. Donovan Williams had his pass tipped. UTC fighting for the loose ball, and it's a possession situation to the Moccasins. Donovan lost the handle on that one as he tried to make the pass. So Penn State leading by 18, UTC with the ball with 1:21 to play in the first half.
It's been a really nice run by Penn State in the last minute and a half.
Well, they changed up some things defensively. They also changed the pace offensively. Mims with a rebound, and he scores on the stick back. 4 points for Mims. Penn State by 16. Bruce, you talked about the controlled break earlier. Penn State has done a good job in the half-court offense, and when they push it up the floor, Danny Earl has been outstanding running the controls.
They have. They've converted a very good percentage of their fast break opportunities. They've used real good judgment.
There goes Stephens, and he's called for traveling. Earl with 8 assists in the first half.
That's terrific.
That's marvelous.
Yep.
Danny coming into the game averaging just under 6 assists per game. 33 seconds remaining. Penn State leading it by 16. There's Moore. Connor driving, and Booth got another one. The block by Booth. Sekunda comes away with it. 13 seconds remaining in the half. Earl on the drive, in traffic, got it to go.
That was a great move by Danny.
40-22 Nittany Lions. Time running out in the first half. Moore will shoot, and the first half is over. An outstanding first half for the Nittany Lions here in Rec Hall. 8 assists for Danny Earl, 5 blocks for Calvin Booth, 4 3-pointers for Pete Lisicky. That's good balance, Bruce.
That's Penn State strength, Frank.
And the Nittany Lions leading by 18. We'll be back with halftime in a minute.
Okay, new rules. Individuals are no longer more important than the team.
You want a piece of that championship? Put it in here. Nobody can do it alone, but together we can do it.
Sports magazines include more team photos. More game balls go to linemen. We all play more as a team. We pat someone on the butt when they fail and celebrate like madmen when they succeed. Starter, it's about team.
Basketball on Sports Channel is brought to you by Core States and Core States Direct, the shortest distance between you and your money. Gennardi's, where low prices and family pride make the difference, with 26 locations in Pennsylvania and Delaware to serve you. Herman's, and by Keystone Health Plan East, the HMO you can lean on.
For the first time on television, the original Handy Disc. Tough enough to cut a tempered steel file. So durable it comes with an unconditional lifetime satisfaction guarantee. Handy Disc cuts this tough construction brick and concrete block. Accurately cuts and shapes ceramic tile. Save time. Simultaneously cut shingles, tar paper, nails, and wood. Effortlessly sand paint off your house or boat. Easily grind rust off your car. Cut PVC without melting. Aluminum without loading up. Save money. Handy Disc sharpens tools like a pro. 15 years of experience and flexible abrasive wheel technology are crafted into every Handy Disc. Order your Handy Disc kit today, including 2 7-inch and 1 4.5-inch Handy Discs, mounting hardware, 8-page instruction booklet, and toll-free Handy helpline. A more than $57 value for only $19.95. And don't forget, if you ever damage or wear out your Handy Discs, even if the damage is your fault, return it to us for a free replacement. Don't be fooled by cheap imitations. Order the original Handy Disc today.
This season, when you're looking for great Sixers action and they're on the road, look to Sports Channel for exclusive away game coverage. Hit the road with the Sixers as they showcase new faces and returning stars. They may just catch their opponents off guard. So when you're home and the Sixers aren't, find great basketball action on Sports Channel. The Sixers home away from home. The Sixers battle the Minnesota Timberwolves tonight at 6 o'clock, exclusively on Sports Channel.
Welcome back to Rec Hall, the home of Penn State Nittany Lion basketball. And the Nittany Lions off to a very sharp start here in the first half today, leading the Moccasins of UT Chattanooga 40-22. Frank Gardenia and Bruce Parkhill with you at the half. And Bruce, we talked about three-point shooting at the start of the telecast.
Right.
And the Nittany Lions have been shooting the three-pointer well all year, and they've done it again here today.
They sure have, Frank, and that's been a real factor in the game. I think that, and they've only turned the ball over 5 times. So they have, I think 7 for 9 from 3. Only 5 turnovers. Conversely, UTC is looking at a 33% shooting mark, and they've turned the ball over 10 times. So if UTC is going to get back in a game, they're going to have to either make some of their tough shots. Then they've missed some makeable shots, too. But Penn State's doing a really good job of creating good shots and converting on good shots.
Great balance by Penn State here in the first half. Danny Earl has really run the floor well. He's had 8 assists in the first half. And also, when you look at the play of Calvin Booth, he's done it on the defensive end, altering shots, changing shots. He has 6 blocked shots here in the first half. So all of that has contributed to a very solid effort.
Calvin's doing a great job. He gets things going at that end. The other guys run the floor. Danny Earl sees the floor. Damien has done a nice job when he's been in there of creating some pressure on the defense by penetration. And right now, they've got it going on all cylinders.
And the Nittany Lions leading it by 18 points, 40-22. We'll be back with more after these messages from your local station.
In the good old days, they played on clay and dirt, and they played their hearts out in dusty, cramped arenas and great old buildings that still echo with their memories and a history we'll never forget. History means a lot to us at Core States because our history of service to your banking needs goes back a long way, too. But it's much more than just a memory. It's a tradition of service that's even more important to us today than it was back in the good old days.
Weekends were made for sports. And New Sport, your source for sports news and information, covers all the weekend action with so many games. Who has the time to catch them all? Now you do with Scoreboard Central, your weekend spot on the dial for all the scores, highlights, and more. Scoreboard Central. No more waiting. Get what you want when you want it. Informative and timely. Scoreboard Central.
Let's go to Josh in the Northeast. Let's go to Frank in Orland. Let's go to Joanne in South Philadelphia. We have Larry in Glenside. Let's go to Brian in Boothwyn. Let's go to Ted from West Philly. Let's go to Pat in Richboro. Let's go to Casey in King of Prussia. John in Media. And let's go to John in Horsham. Mike in Center City. Hi, Mike. You're on Monday Night Live. Let's go to John in Princeton, New Jersey. Let's go back to the phone. John in Maple Shade. Hi, Connie in Lindenwood. Mike in Springfield. Let's go to Ted from West Philly. Down to Shore. John in Summers Point. Let's go to Josh in the Northeast. Let's go to Frank in Orland.
Halftime in rec hall, the Penn State Nittany Lions lead the Moccasins of UT Chattanooga by the score of 40-22. Here at rec hall at the half, we have an opportunity to talk about the Penn State athletic program and some of the things that have been happening across the country as far as graduation rates are concerned, and specifically how Penn State is stacked up in some of those areas. And we have with us the president of the Pennsylvania State University, Dr. Graham Spanier. Dr. Spanier, I know that Penn State has always taken great pride in their graduation rate among their athletes, and you must take great pride in that as well.
Oh, I'm very pleased to become president of an institution which has a wonderful balance between athletics and academics. I don't know of anywhere in the country where it comes together as well as it does here.
Why has Penn State been so successful in that area, do you feel?
Well, I think it has to do with the athletic administration and the coaches. Their value system emphasizes recruiting athletes who are very, very strong academically, and it's a two-way street because I think our athletes come here wanting to be a part of a program like this that blends the two well together. And if you look at our graduation rates, we're about 20 percentage points ahead of the national averages in our overall athletics program. And in basketball, I don't know if there's any school in the country that does as well as we do on both the men's and the women's side.
In men's basketball especially, it seems to be somewhat unusual to have a high graduation rate for many schools, but you mentioned Penn State. In men's and women's basketball, the graduation rate here has been phenomenal.
Yeah, if you look at the recent Big Ten statistics come out, the rolling four-year average, we are at the top of the Big Ten in both men's and women's athletics. Nationally, in our six-year figures, we were at 80% in the men and 100% in women, obviously leading the country there. That in men is about 20%, it's about 40% or double the national graduation rates. And for women, we're 35 percentage points ahead of the graduation rates in basketball. It's quite phenomenal, and I think it says a lot about Bruce Parkhill and the program he built, Jerry Dunn, who's been a part of that, and Rennie Portland on the women's side.
Has Penn State been a leader, you think, in helping to set the tone for some other universities to follow?
I think so. I think it's been noticed nationally. In the Big Ten, we get a lot of credit for being out in front. And nationally, when it comes to things like the NCAA convention and the voting on the rules that takes place there, people will be watching how Penn State votes and listening to what we have to say in the debate. And I'm real pleased to be a part of that.
We have a chance to talk now with one of the athletes who has really helped set a standard of excellence here at Penn State as well, and that is a Lady Lion gymnast, Tracy Kerner, an outstanding student athlete at Penn State. Tracy, how tough has it been as an athlete here to maintain your academic excellence?
Well, at Penn State, we really try and emphasize the academics through the Academic Support Center for student athletes, but it is difficult, and you do need to really manage your time and budget your time accordingly, and you want to perform well on the athletic arena, but also in the classroom, and that's what has been our focus and emphasis. So we try to put academics first, and that's what, that's how you manage your time, and that's your focus, that's your emphasis, and you work accordingly.
Is it a real source of pride for Penn State athletes to try to maintain that overall academic excellence?
Oh, definitely. I know as far as our gymnastics team, we really do try and strive to be Big Ten academic All-Americans as well as academic All-Americans. So we really, it's a really big source of pride, and there's a great support system at Penn State, and even with each other, with fellow athletes. We help each other out through the, like taking classes together, and we really try and support each other through, we know we're working hard athletically, but we also really try and strive to be the best we can academically.
Tracy, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Tracy Kerner with us from the Lady Line Gymnastics team. Again, our halftime score here is Penn State leading UT Chattanooga 40-22. We'll be back with more in Rec Hall in just a moment.
I believe a little determination can go a long way. Somebody once said, if you lose sight of your goals, your obstacles will get in your way. And the way I see it, why let anything get in your way?
Discover the amazing training secrets of America's finest baseball school with Dynamic Practice Organization, a revolutionary new instructional videotape. Dynamic Practice Organization features professional scout and instructor Tommy Mansky with his famous building block approach to athletic training. This exciting instructional videotape features the same drills, techniques, and methods that have produced baseball world's back-to-back-to-back AAU national championship teams. Dynamic Practice Organization makes any coach look like a genius and organizes offensive and defensive practices that players of all ages and ability levels can't wait to attend. And immensely improves team communication skills and even conditioning. This is the instructional video that's a winner. To order your copy for only $29.95, have your credit card ready and call toll-free 1-800-282-5020. The Dynamic Practice Organization teaching video makes a great gift, too. Call now, 1-800-282-5020.
Welcome back to Rec Hall. The Penn State Nittany Lions off to a 5-0 start are trying to make it 6-0 here today. And they have an 18-point halftime lead over the Moccasins of UT Chattanooga out of the Southern Conference. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
Catch the best in college basketball action right here on Sports Channel. Marshall battles Kentucky Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, exclusively on Sports Channel. Your home for college basketball.
Are you looking for a sports show that you can really get involved in? Well, we've got just the show for you. I'm Doug Gold, he's Greg Murphy, and we're the hosts of a brand new sports show called A Piece of the Game. We talk about your favorite players and your favorite teams, and the best part of it is you can get involved. You can pick up some of the great sports collectibles and trading cards right from your home. So come join us right here on Sports Channel and pick up a piece of the game.
Get ready to see Philly fly. Check out the local boys in great Atlantic 10 action on Sports Channel. Check out Temple, LaSalle, St. Joe's, and the rest of the Atlantic 10 as they battle their way to the NCAA tournaments. It's all the slams, jams, and frenzy of college hoops right here on Sports Channel, your home for college basketball. Get
Back in Rec Hall, Frank Gardenia, Bruce Parkhill with you, with the Nittany Lions leaded by 18 points. Several big plays for Penn State here in the first half, Bruce. Pete Lisicky's been on fire from three-point range.
Well, that's Penn State's strength, Frank, and I think that's going to be a strength for them all year.
And here's Calvin Booth. What a dominating shot blocker and presence he's been inside early.
Well, you see another segment of the game. You see the defensive end where Penn State can get it going and create a run-out situation.
And they push the ball up the floor quickly, and Matt Gaudio with the basket on the other end.
And there's the other end of the run-out situation.
So the Nittany Lions playing very well, clicking on all cylinders here in the first half, leaded by 18.
Midas. I was expecting twins and waited until the last minute to shop for car seats. Then I learned that Century car seats were available through Midas's Project Safe Baby. Bill explained,
"They're only $42 each, our cost. And when you give them back, we'll deduct the cost for your next repair."
The next day, I went into the hospital, and a few weeks later, my twins came home in comfort, safety, and style. This letter is long overdue. Thank you.
Georgia Peach.
This season, when you're looking for great Sixers action and they're on the road, look to Sports Channel for exclusive away game coverage. Hit the road with the Sixers as they showcase new faces and returning stars. They may just catch their opponents off guard. So when you're home and the Sixers aren't, find great basketball action on Sports Channel. The Sixers home away from home. The Sixers battle the Minnesota Timberwolves tonight at 6 o'clock, exclusively on Sports Channel.
Welcome back to Rec Halls. We get set to start the second half. Frank Gardenia, Bruce Parkhill with you, where the Nittany Lions lead the Moccasins by 18 points. Bruce, if you're UTC, it's tough enough to win on the opponent's home floor, but when a team is shooting as Penn State is shooting, in the first half, Penn State shooting over 68% from the floor, it's really tough then.
It's extremely tough, Frank, especially when you're not knocking down your shots. And UTC's backcourt was 2 for 9, and I know that really is a concern for Mack. What they have to do is continue to play aggressive defense, not give Penn State second shots, and try to convert themselves. That was real nice execution and nice patience by Penn State on that possession.
Great work out of the half-court offense. Glenn Sekunda with the bucket, his 9th point of the game. And Calvin Booth is an excellent passer as well, Bruce.
Yeah, Calvin really does pass the ball very well for his size.
And Booth out on the wing making the steal. Look at the big guy go. He may be thin, but he is an athlete.
Yeah, he's definitely an athlete. He's got great coordination. He's got a great feel for the game, really good hands. He's going to be a great player.
The thing about Calvin that a lot of people didn't realize, Bruce, until you really see him in game situations, is he has some fire in his belly also. I mean, he is a very competitive player.
You know, Frank, last year that was the one thing that we really didn't see, and we wondered if he had. And this year it's very evident. He's matured. He's gotten more confident. And he's been more demonstrative on the floor in terms of his emotional makeup, and that is really encouraging, I know, to the coaches.
9 points for Calvin as he drains both free throws. He's hit 3 of 4 tonight. And Penn State has doubled the score now on the Moccasins. Very impressive showing by Jerry Dunn's Nittany Lions here today. This is Mims against Gaudio. Over to Taylor, who's been fairly quiet since the first portion of the first half.
UTC is not getting solid screens out of their offense right now, so they're not putting a lot of pressure on the defense, and now they have to revert to dribble penetration, which is another way to put pressure on the defense, and they converted.
That was a splendid move by Taylor through traffic. He has double-figure scoring now with 10 points, but he did most of that on his own.
Well, he did. That was created by a nice individual move. He needs help from some of his teammates now at the offensive end.
Here's Earl trying to back Moore into the paint. To Gaudio. Booth will shoot from the foul line.
Calvin can hit that shot. That wasn't a bad shot. It was a good shot. It was a nice pass by Mack.
18 minutes remaining. Penn State leading 44-24. Penn State man-to-man most of the game. Down low, they tried to feed it inside, and it's stolen.
That time they got a good screen. They got the cutter open, but they weren't able to finish it.
And Booth on the other end showing some finesse and some strength as he kisses it off the glass. Calvin now with 11 points. Watch him disrupt the pass here. They try to feed it to Scott, and Calvin got a hand on it, and he immediately runs the floor.
Well, Calvin's demonstrating his mobility and his agility.
And his free throw shooting as well. His touch has been very, very sure tonight. 47-24 Penn State. Well, what you've seen also from this Nittany Lion team early is a lot of guys doing a lot of little things, and there's Booth again with a steal. Sekunda. And the shot missed by Gaudio and tapped in by Booth. So Calvin Booth controlling the second half.
Calvin was at the right time, at the right place at the right time on that one.
Booth now with 7 points in the second half. 49-24. Shot from the wing by Oliver is short. Calvin almost caught that one. And we have a whistle and a foul inside on the Nittany Lions. Talking about guys doing little things, Bruce, you look at Calvin's defense, and Danny Earl running the floor is the king of doing the things that people may not notice sometimes.
Well, there's no doubt about that. A lot of the subtleties of the game really produce. One of the things on the other end of the floor right now that's happening is UTC, the guys are running their offense, but they're not executing their offense. They're running the spots on the floor as opposed to running and setting solid screens, and so they're not really putting a lot of pressure on Penn State's defense. And Penn State is doing a good job defensively, by the way.
Oliver hit a tough turnaround jumper there to make it 49-26. But as you mentioned, those aren't easy shots.
No.
That won't happen that often.
They need to get more shots out of their offense if they're going to have a chance to get back in the ballgame.
Sekunda calling for it, and he'll shoot it.
It's a nice move. Great pump fake, got the defender frozen, got by him, went straight up.
He looked as if he wanted a three, and you mentioned he kind of wisely stepped it inside and got the high percentage shot. And Glenn now with 11 points. This is Oliver trying to work on Lisicky. And blocked again by Booth. Oliver to shoot it from the corner. Maybe Calvin can't block that one, he says. But Booth with a rebound. Here's Earl for three. Gaudio to stick it back, and he's fouled.
Great job by Mack Gaudio to hold position inside, get the offensive rebound, and take it up strong.
Bruce, one of the things about Gaudio this year, he is thinner than he was when he played 2 years ago, it appears. And he seems to be a little springier and runs the floor a little better. Is that accurate?
That's definitely true. Watch Matt here. He gets great inside position, pump fakes, gets the defender up in the air, and gives himself an opportunity for 2 foul shots. He's a smart player, Frank. He knows the game. He knows how to play the game. And he's a tough kid.
He drives opposing coaches crazy.
Well, he's got a lot of pride, and he's a guy that in late game situations this year is really going to help Penn State. He'll come up with a big defensive play, a big rebound. He'll convert on his foul shots. He missed his first one here, but that's unusual for Matt. He's a good foul shooter.
And he hits the second shot. Gaudio shooting better than 81% from the floor from the free throw line this year. The Nittany Lions lead it. We'll be back in a moment.
1990.
Enter the dream home of the 90s, captured within the pages of Log Home Living magazine. Whether you're dreaming about living in a log home or you're making your dream a reality, Log Home Living is the publication you must have. Every other month, you'll receive your copy of Log Home Living, covering the essentials on buying, building, and maintaining a log home. You'll receive guidance on site selection, creative floor plans, technical tips, financing, decorating, and much more. With your paid subscription of $19.95, you'll automatically get the next annual buyer's guide, 300 pages filled with everything you need to know to build a log home. And as a free bonus gift, you'll receive the Log Home Plans book, including over 100 pages of photographs and complete floor plans that will guide you step by step through construction. This tremendous offer of 1 year of Log Home Living magazine, including the annual buyer's guide and the Log Home Plans book, a value worth over $30, is all yours for only $19.95. Don't let your dreams slip away. Keep them alive with Log Home Living magazine. Call today.
This season, when you're looking for great Sixers action and they're on the road, look to Sports Channel for exclusive away game coverage. Hit the road with the Sixers as they showcase new faces and returning stars. They may just catch their opponents off guard. So when you're home and the Sixers aren't, find great basketball action on Sports Channel. The Sixers home away from home. The Sixers battle the Minnesota Timberwolves tonight at 6 o'clock, exclusively on Sports Channel.
Back in Rec Hall, and Penn State has doubled the score on UT Chattanooga, and one of the big reasons has been big Calvin Booth. Booth with the block here, his 6th of the game, Bruce.
Frank, Calvin comes back after this block and stays with it, grabs a rebound. This is the Calvin Booth show, this possession. Terrific rebound, clears the ball.
And Bruce, we said it earlier, he does it so smoothly that the block is made without committing the foul or any contact whatsoever.
Well, you know, a lot of people questioned Penn State in the middle this year, and we really felt that if Penn State could be adequate in the middle, Penn State was going to have a better team than last year, and I think so far it's proving that Penn State is more than adequate in the middle.
And there's a foul on Booth. He came into the game averaging around 4 blocks per game, and he has, as we mentioned, 6 already here. He got into foul trouble earlier this year in the game at Tennessee, and that was a good learning experience for him as well to overcome that situation. He has really avoided fouls for the most part this season. Shot by Moore is no good, and here's Booth with another one.
He's more of a finesse player than a power player.
Had a chance to go at Tennessee against a veteran 7-footer, and he handled himself well. Lisicky out to Earl. 15 minutes remaining. Penn State leading 52-26. This is Gaudio. Down low to Earl, and Earl inside is fouled. Well, usually it's the other way around. It's Danny dumping the ball into the post. That time he received it.
That was a great look by Mack. Great look. Right here, Penn State runs a switching action. Chattanooga's confused as to their assignments. Matt tests his pass and then gives it up to Danny when he finds him open. That was a great job.
Foul was on Connor. Penn State with the ball. This is Sekunda. 39 seconds left in the shot clock. Earl to shoot the 3. Rebound off to Connor.
Good block out by Connor.
Connor on the run. Quickly down to Oliver. He'll shoot over Lisicky and score.
That's a tough shot. You know, Pete was solid there. He stayed with him, but that was just a real good individual opportunity.
6 points for Oliver. Now the Moccasins have only scored 6 points here in the second half. Oliver has 4 of those 6.
Well, it'll be interesting to see as the half progresses, Frank, as to whether Chattanooga becomes more offensive oriented on a quicker basis, if they'll attack a little bit quicker as opposed to running their offense.
Sekunda missed a shot and was hurt. On the other end, Calvin Booth with another block for the Nittany Lions, and the officials stopped the play. Calvin Booth with another block for Penn State. And we have a technical foul on UT Chattanooga coach Mack McCarthy. Here's Sekunda on the drive, and he is hurt as he hits the floor.
Well, I couldn't tell what it was. I hope it wasn't his ankle. Glenn has had a history of ankle problems and has a tendency to turn his ankle pretty easily. I hope that isn't what it was.
So technical on Mack McCarthy, who's a little frustrated. Phil Williams has come on for Penn State to replace Sekunda. Earl hits the free throw, and Danny has 6 points.
You know, sometimes when you're coaching, you're just trying to push a button to get your guys a little more pumped up, get a little more fire in them, and at this point in time, I think Mack felt like it's time to see if he can get these guys going a little bit. I don't think Chattanooga has really played with the intensity defensively that they need to make a run in the game.
54-28 Nittany Lions. Penn State an excellent free throw shooting team, and they've shot them fairly well here again today. Down low, Booth to Gaudio, and he missed a shot, and it was fouled.
It's good execution, good screening actions, good patience, come up with a good shot.
Calvin Booth showing some excellent vision.
It's a good look by Calvin. That was a nice back screen, freed up Matt Gaudio for a good opportunity.
Gaudio to the line, and he's got it. Matt is now 2 of 3 at the free throw line. We were mentioning earlier, he also is a better than 81% free throw shooter.
Yeah, he's a clutch player.
Well, one guy in the Nittany Lions who doesn't get a lot of free throw opportunities really is Pete Lisicky. And that's because he does not really, penetrate to the basket.
No, and Pete's better at that this year. He's better at putting the ball on the floor and creating for himself, but he's still a jump shot oriented player.
And Pete only has 4 free throw attempts on the season. UTC out of the corner. The shot is up and no good by Connor. Rebound off to Mims. Mims double teamed to Connor. Working inside on Booth is Collier, and he had to alter the shot and missed it.
Calvin was a factor, even though he didn't block the shot. But that was a good move by Collier. He tried to take it to the basket, and that's what you have to do.
Earl hanging and missing. Williams with a rebound.
Great job by Phil Williams.
Earl again to Williams. Look out. Danny trying to reward Phil Williams for the great effort, and Big Phil just could not quite get it down.
Yeah, there was a little butter on the rim or something.
Penn State leading 56-28. On the drive, Oliver. Booth couldn't control it. It'll be the Moccasins' ball. Looks like Sekunda, they're looking at his fingers or wrist.
Or his wrist, yeah. I'm glad it isn't his right hand.
Down to Connor. Oliver in the lane now to Collier. Booth with another block, and Gaudio comes up with it.
He didn't take it at Calvin. You can't shoot over Calvin. You got to take it right to him or kick it out of there.
I believe Booth now has 9 blocks in the game. Turnaround by Booth. Yes, sir.
Nice little spin fake to the baseline. Calvin has it going today.
16 points for Calvin Booth. Penn State by 30. Oliver one-on-one in the lane is fouled by Earl. I tell you, Bruce, I don't think anyone expected this differential as far as the score is concerned. This was a very dangerous game for the Nittany Lions coming off a week of finals against the Moccasins today.
Well, I think Penn State worked hard this week, even though they did have finals. I think they had several guys who only had 1 or 2 finals, which really helped. I think they were ready for the game. You know, they're on a roll now. Conversely, Chattanooga is really trying to find themselves, and it's a tough situation for them to come into a Big Ten arena and without a whole lot of confidence and try to get things going.
UTC is a very poor free throw shooting team. They only shoot 57% from the floor as a team. And Oliver misses here.
That just kills you. You have to shoot the ball well from the foul line, especially in close games.
Second shot is up and good. So a timeout now with 11:55 to play. Penn State leading at 58-29. We'll be back with more after these messages from your local station.
Catch the best in college basketball action right here on Sports Channel. Marshall battles Kentucky Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, exclusively on Sports Channel. Your home for college basketball.
Are you looking for a sports show that you can really get involved in? Well, we've got just the show for you. I'm Doug Gold, he's Greg Murphy, and we're the hosts of a brand new sports show called A Piece of the Game. We talk about your favorite players and your favorite teams, and the best part of it is you can get involved. You can pick up some of the great sports collectibles and trading cards right from your home. So come join us right here on Sports Channel and pick up a piece of the game.
Get ready to see Philly fly. Check out the local boys in great Atlantic 10 action on Sports Channel. Check out Temple, LaSalle, St. Joe's, and the rest of the Atlantic 10 as they battle their way to the NCAA tournaments. It's all the slams, jams, and frenzy of college hoops right here on Sports Channel, your home for college basketball.
Get ready to run and gun as the Big Ten Network brings you college hoops excitement all season long. Join us for all the full court intensity when college basketball's bets square off and the chase for the conference title heats up on the Big Ten Network.
It's been the Calvin Booth Show here today.
Well, Frank, Calvin is one of the guys I mentioned earlier who only had, I think, one final this past week, so he sure didn't lose his focus. He's just, he's continuing to get better every day.
He is very close to a triple-double. 16 points, 7 rebounds. He's tied the school record with 8 block shots already here today, and he has quickly become a crowd favorite in Happy Valley.
Absolutely. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch the next 4 years.
Jeremy Metzger is in now replacing Booth. Here's Lisicky wide open, and he nails it.
Pete had all night to shoot that one. Then Chattanooga didn't identify, didn't get out there, and as a result, Pete drained it.
5 3-pointers for Lisicky. Oliver missing. Here come the Nittany Lions again, down the floor to Williams.
Big Phil running the floor.
Blocked by Mims.
That was a good look ahead by Danny Earl.
Nice defensive play by Mims.
Yes, it was.
Young with the ball for UTC, looking for Mims inside against Metzger. Jump hook is no good. Not a very on-balance shot, and Earl is fouled on the rebound.
Real good check out by Danny Earl. He got good position and held it. Came up with the ball, got fouled.
Tough day for Mack McCarthy, his 11th year at UTC. Has had great success there. Southern Conference Coach of the Year 3 times, 5 regular season championships.
Well, you know, talked to Matt yesterday, Frank, and Mack isn't super concerned about the month of December. He just wants these guys to get some experience. He's really pointing toward the Southern Conference, where he feels his team can win it again once they gel and mature.
Damien McKnight in for Penn State, replacing Earl. Lisicky finally misses one. Rebound off to Mims. Pete with 15 points for Penn State today on 5 threes. He hit 9 of 10 in Atlantic City last weekend. Shot is blocked by Metzger. So Scott thinking, well, Booth's out of the game. Maybe I can do this, but Metzger goes up for the block.
Well, he didn't take it strong. He tried to finesse it over Jeremy instead of taking it to the basket. And it was good ball movement by Chattanooga to get that opportunity.
Phil Williams called for the walk. UTC gets it back. 10:22 to play. Penn State leading 61-29. So as a team now, the Nittany Lions have blocked 9 shots today. This is Young against McKnight.
See, when you watch Chattanooga run their offense, they're not really disrupting Penn State's defense with their screens. And as a result, they're having a tough time getting good looks at the basket.
Young, a one-on-one against McKnight, shoots over the sophomore and misses. Rebound, Donovan Williams.
Good defense by Damien.
Williams to McKnight. McKnight with penetration. Yes, sir.
It's a nice pass by Donovan Williams, finding Damien open on the other side of the court. Good vision.
4 points for Damien McKnight, and we talked about it earlier. Penn State in the backcourt has legitimate depth to go into the Big Ten.
Very much so. A big factor this year.
Shot out of the left side is up and good.
Well, Donovan went over top of the double screen that time instead of chasing through, and it gave Chattanooga a good look at the basket.
That was Tshombe High for the basket. That's only the 4th field goal of the second half for UTC. Tshombe High checking into the game, the 6'4" junior from Chattanooga. The Moccasins have had trouble scoring this half. Only 8 points. Williams on the drive to Lisicky. And the trigger is off, and the ball's in the hoop.
It's another nice pass by Donovan Williams. Used the dribble to penetrate, draw the defense. Peter spotted up at the 3. Donovan saw him and Peter knocked it down.
6 3-pointers for Lisicky, 18 points. Penn State 66-32 over Chattanooga. Impressive performance by the Nittany Lions today, and High that time throws up an air ball. Moore will return for UTC along with Taylor. Taylor hasn't played much this half. Jarrett Stephens, the freshman from Ferndale, Michigan, in for Penn State. And Sekunda returns. A big hand for Pete Lisicky as he leaves with 18 points. And it's also good to see Sekunda returning to the floor after leaving with an injury.
Yes, it is, Frank. happy to see that. It's good to see guys like Jarrett Stephens and Damien and Jeremy getting some playing time now, because as the season progresses, Penn State's really going to need those guys to have experience and contribute.
Donovan Williams missing Sekunda with a stick back, and he is fouled.
Something that Penn State's done very well this year is offensive rebound.
Taylor commits the foul. Here's the shot missed by Williams, and as you mentioned, the Nittany Lions attack the glass.
3 Penn State players in there battling for the offensive rebound. That's a real good job. Good hustle, good positioning.
Sekunda to shoot, hits the first one. Glenn now with 12 points. And again, a very balanced attack for the Nittany Lions today. The foul on Taylor was his 4th. Sekunda hits the second shot. And it's 68-32. Taylor in the corner against Metzger. Leads the post, and Scott with his turnaround jumper, and he's fouled by Stephens.
See, that's not the kind of shot you want to foul on. He took a turnaround jump shot. If you're the defender, you just want to get a hand in his face, challenge the shot, and then make sure he doesn't get an offensive rebound.
That's the first on Stephens. Here's Scott to the free throw line. He's 0 for 2 this year on free throws. 4 points thus far in the game. And he misses there. As we mentioned earlier, UTC a very poor free throw shooting team.
Yeah, it's one of those afternoons for Mack. It's a situation where they can't get anything going offensively. Penn State's got it going at their end offensively, and it makes for a long day.
He missed them both. And the loose ball is off of Metzger. It'll be UTC's ball. Timeout here on the floor with 7:57 to play in the game. It's all Nittany Lions here this afternoon. They lead it by 36.
Good old days, they played on clay and dirt, and they played their hearts out in dusty, cramped arenas and great old buildings that still echo with their memories and a history we'll never forget. History means a lot to us at Core States, because our history of service to your banking needs goes back a long way, too. But it's much more than just a memory. It's a tradition of service that's important to us today than it was back in the good old days.
Weekends were made for sports. And New Sport, your source for sports news and information, covers all the weekend action with so many games. Who has the time to catch them all? Now you do with Scoreboard Central, your weekend spot on the dial for all the scores, highlights, and more. Scoreboard Central. No more waiting. Get what you want when you want it. Informative and timely. Scoreboard Central.
Let's go to Josh in the Northeast. Go to Frank in Orland. Go to Joanne in South Philadelphia. We have Larry in Glenside. Let's go to Brian in Boothwyn. Let's go to Ted from West Philly. Let's go to Pat in Richmond. Let's go to Casey in King of Prussia. John in Media Heights. And let's go to John in Horsham. Mike in Center City. Hi, Mike. You're on Monday Night Live. Let's go to John in Bridgeton, New Jersey. Now go back to the phone. John in Maple Shade Heights. Connie in Lindenwood. Mike in Springfield. Let's go to Ted from West Philly. Ted down the shore. John in Summers Point. Let's go to Josh in the Northeast. Let's go to Frank in Orland.
Because disaster strikes someone every single day, there's always going to be another night someone needs food, shelter, and a place to rest. Please support the American Red Cross, because without your help, another night could be hard to come by.
You're watching Sports Channel. 24 hours of the best sports from around the region and the world.
Well, a big lead for the Penn State Nittany Lions as we get set for the final 8 minutes today here in Rec Hall. Frank Gardenia and Bruce Parkhill with you. This is one of the final games to be played in this building. And the Nittany Lions playing well here today against UT Chattanooga.
Frank, it'll be interesting to see if UT Chattanooga changes their defensive scheme to try to get some trapping. But a lot of times when you have a young team, people may not understand, well, why don't they do something to trap or press? They just want you guys to get out there and play man-to-man and just learn the fundamentals and get experience doing that, as opposed to trying something different that you may not have to rely on too much the rest of the year.
Jarrett Stephens,
That's
the
a
freshman.
nice move by Jarrett Stephens.
Very quick first step by Stephens, and he spins the ball through the hoop, 70-32.
Jarrett really has good inside moves, good back-to-the-basket moves for a freshman.
That's his first bucket of the game. He is an outstanding athlete. He's averaged over 6 points a game this year. Shot by Taylor over Stephens will miss. Here comes McKnight on the run. And knocked out of bounds by UTC. Penn State will be at home here again on Friday, December 22nd, playing Bucknell. And then the final game in Rec Hall will be January 7th against Wisconsin.
There's nice execution on the back screen.
Stephens could not get it to go, and Metzger commits the foul.
Well, Jarrett's rushing it a little bit. He's a freshman. And he's really going to be a good player. I really like what he does.
Well, if you're Matt McCarthy right now, you want your team to still compete. Even though you probably can't get back in the game, you still want to compete and make yourself as
That's right.
strong as you can be.
And you want to try to establish some good habits and see the guys execute a little bit better, play tough defense.
There's Connor shooting.
You know, that time they got a good look. That was good execution. They got a nice look at the basket.
That's a 3 for Connor. That's his first point of the game. 70-35. Points have been few and far between for UTC this half. They only had 13.
Really haven't gotten very many good looks at the basket.
Moore with a steal and on the run. Trying to feed inside and threw it away.
Well, that's a freshman mistake. Moore should have stopped at the foul line, gathered himself, drawn the defense and kicked it. Or if the defense slid back to guard the cutter, then he can take a jump shot.
6:12 remaining. You see the time and the lead. Penn State in control. Sekunda to Metzger. Could not quite make the catch. Tipped out of bounds by the Moccasins.
That was still a good look inside by Glenn.
Metzger out of the corner. McKnight. Here's the shot by Sekunda. Too strong. Taylor with a rebound. On the run to High into Connor. He missed the shot. Rebound Metzger. That's the way it's gone today for UTC.
That's right. That's right. It's just one of those days. Got another good look at the basket, though.
There's Donovan Williams pulling up.
Nice execution off the secondary break for Penn State. Jeremy set a good screen for Donovan. Donovan made a good cut. Got a good look at the bucket.
Turn around by Connor. Let fall, and Metzger clears it away.
UTC's getting better looks at the basket now, but they're just not converting.
So both teams a little cold here the last couple of minutes. McKnight will try to run some clock as we approach the 5-minute mark. Sekunda is open and can't hit it. Sekunda thought about it, decided not to. Here's Metzger inside. Offensive foul on Metzger. Metzger with the elbow that time. I guess that's what got the foul call.
That is a real tough situation for an official because you know, that's one of those that could go either way. Jeremy did force the contact, and it did look like UTC had established position.
Moccasins of the ball. Here's High trying to drive. Rod Cross is in the game now for the Moccasins. Down low, Taylor. Taylor turning and missing the shot over Stephens. Taylor had 2 3-pointers early in the game, but he's been very quiet since that time. Stephens picks up his second personal foul.
Now here again, Jarrett gets caught behind, and instead of reaching in, he should just challenge the shot and block out. That's a freshman mistake, and Jarrett will learn from that.
Taylor, the only mock player in double figures on the day. Today, UTC 0 for 3 from the line. As we mentioned, as a team, they only shoot about 57% from the free throw line. This team has been to the NCAA tournament the last 3 years. In the 80s, they had a team that did some damage in the tournament, beating North Carolina State and losing to an outstanding Minnesota team by 1 in overtime.
Yeah, Mack McCarthy has done a great job at UTC, and I know he really feels it's a good situation. We went down there to the tournament several years ago. He was really excited about the situation. They have a nice arena, and they have a good program going, and Mack will have this team ready by conference time.
High with a miss, and Metzger with a rebound. Whitney Lyons leading at 70-36 with 4:09 to play.
Well, that's Damien's game right there. Shake a little bit, draw and kick.
Sekunda buries the three.
There's another good job by Donovan Williams finding the open man.
73-36. Cross pulling up and shooting, barely drawing iron, and Oliver collects it and scores. Oliver with a bucket, 73-38. McKnight looking for Sekunda. Sekunda wide open, but I think he's trying to spread the ball around a little bit here, Bruce.
Well, I'm impressed with that, Frank. That was good judgment. He's trying to get his teammates involved in the offense. He knows he's going to get plenty of shot opportunities as the season goes on.
Stevens with a miss, but Metzger scores. And
But a nice move by Jarrett. That was a good move. It didn't go, but that was a real nice spin move.
Those are the two guys I think they were trying to get an opportunity for with
Right.
the Metzger and Stevens.
Right.
Tshombe High with the drive. This is Cross. And Cross scores. Rod Cross with his first basket. Penn State by 35, 2:46 to play. The Nittany Lions will go to 6-0 on the year. Penn State has never lost to a Southern Conference team of the current members that are in the league. They had some battles over the years with the West Virginia Mountaineers, who are a long-time member of the Southern Conference. Here come the Mocs, and Cross lets it go again for three. 75-43.
I don't know if our fans are familiar with the Southern Conference, but it's one of the oldest conferences in the country, and actually the ACC came out of the Southern Conference.
The SEC and the ACC, as you mentioned, were
That's
kind of
right.
born out of that league, and West Virginia for a long time was an outstanding program in that league. Now, you grew up going to games here in Rec Hall. If you picked a Rec Hall all-opponent team over the years, a guy like a Jerry West from West Virginia would certainly be one of the greats that played here.
No doubt about that, Frank.
22nd timeout. Penn State going to the bench. You have some great memories of this building, don't you?
I sure do.
What are you've talked often about the win over Syracuse, and
yeah, Jeff Person hit a jump hook in the middle of the lane. I've had a lot of fun here. I practically grew up in here.
2 games remaining here.
Yeah,
December
that's right.
22nd, January 7th.
A lot of memories.
Aaron Jack in the game for Penn State, along with Chris Rogers. Metzger inside, missing the shot.
It's good to see Aaron Jack out there. He's struggled with injuries all fall, and getting some PT now. It's nice to see Chris Rogers out there too. He works really hard, and he's really improved.
Timeout with 1:58 to play. Penn State leading big. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
When you only do sports, you have to do it right. Sports Channel brings you sports the way they're meant to be seen. Everything from your hometown team to great games from across the globe. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's all sports, all the time. And if it's sports, it must be Sports Channel. So you think you can hit a jumper in traffic, bury a three, or make a slam dunk with authority? Well, even if you can't, watch the guys who can right here on Sports Channel. This season, Sports Channel's lineup includes the best regional action from the Atlantic 10, the Big East, and the Big Ten. So don't worry about hitting the open J. Hit your remote. Watch Sports Channel and let someone else hit the shot.
There's a lot of sports on TV, but nobody's really giving sports fans the business, the money games that often dictate what you see on the field and in the stadium. Until now, that is. I'm Victor Livingston. I'm a business journalist, but I'm also a sports fan. And now I bring you Sport Biz Today on Sports Channel Philadelphia. Each week, we'll look at the business side of sports, the money games that you should know about if you're any kind of a sports fan. Sport Biz Today, right here on Sports Channel Philadelphia. Be with me.
Welcome back to Rec Hall. The crowd growing a little quiet here as Penn State has really taken charge of this one, leading by 32 over the Moccasins of UT Chattanooga. Penn State led by 18 at the half. And they have really had total control here in the second half. Changes for the Nittany Lions. Dana Fritz is in the game now. Chris Rogers, a walk-on from Bellefonte. Fritz from St. Mary's. Bryan Machamer is in. Youngster from Schuylkill Haven, Pennsylvania. And Aaron Jack, the youngster from Tulsa, Oklahoma. This is Chris Rogers. Jack over to Fritz.
You know, Frank, a lot of these guys work so hard in practice every day and don't get a chance to get in games. And it's really, I know as a coach, it was really fun to get those guys in the game and let them get out under the lights and show what they can do. They work really hard.
And they ran the offense well and got the bucket by Jarrett Stephens. It'd be so easy to come in and just shoot one when you don't play very much.
That's
but
right.
they are disciplined enough to run the offense and get the shot.
Yeah, and they're unselfish.
This is Stephens on the run to Rogers. Back to Stephens.
There's a nice pass. Very nice pass by Chris.
Nice no-look by Chris Rogers to a flying Jarrett Stephens, who shows his athletic ability. And Penn State leads it by 36. Owens on the drive. Terrell Owens, who probably will be playing professional football next year. One of the outstanding football players in the Southern Conference this year. Very highly thought of by some of the NFL scouts. He'll go to the free throw line. Rebound off to Jack. Under a minute remaining. Jack on the drive. And an offensive foul.
It was a good defensive play. Stepped out, held his ground, got the charge.
And Jack is another guy, Bruce, who's shown early that he can do things to help a team win games.
Aaron has a really good shooting touch. I think he's still maturing physically. He grew so much his last couple years, and he's got some good skills. He needs to improve his foot speed and quickness a little bit, but can really shoot the basketball.
Jack against Johnny Taylor almost caused a turnover. Cross will shoot and score for the Moccasins. So 8-point second half for Rod Cross at 79-46 Penn State. Fritz with the ball. Dana Fritz on the drive to Stephens. Stephens throws it up and misses, and it hits off the head of Taylor. Picked up by Owens. Owens on the run against Stephens and lays it in. No, he missed it. Tipped in by Oliver. 79-48. 13 seconds remaining. You see the clock running down. Fritz into Stephens again. Over to Machamer.
Nice pass.
Jack with a tip.
Great pass by Jarrett Stephens. He really has good inside skills.
Aaron Jack getting the field goal, and the final score will end up with a resounding Penn State win, 81-48 over the Moccasins UTC. And Bruce, a very solid performance by the Nittany Lions today.
Well, I thought Penn State played real well at the defensive end, and offensively they just maintained their three-point shooting and their bounce scoring, and that is really tough to beat.
So the Nittany Lions with a big win today improved the record to 6-0, and we'll be back with more after these messages from your local station.
Dear Midas, I was expecting twins and waited until the last minute to shop for car seats. Then I learned that Century car seats were available through Midas's Project Safe Baby. Bill explained,
They're only $42 each, our cost. And when you give them back, we'll deduct the cost from your next repair.
The next day, I went into the hospital, and a few weeks later, my twins came home in comfort, safety, and style. This letter is long overdue. Thank you. Georgia Peach.
This season, when you're looking for great Sixers action and they're on the road, look to Sport Channel for exclusive away game coverage. Hit the road with the Sixers as they showcase new faces and returning stars. They may just catch their opponents off guard. So when you're home and the Sixers aren't, find great basketball action on Sports Channel. The Sixers home away from home. The Sixers battle the Minnesota Timberwolves tonight at 6 o'clock, exclusively on Sports Channel.
Welcome back to Rec Hall, and you see the final score. The Penn State Nittany Lions routing the Moccasins of UT Chattanooga today, 81-48. With the victory, Penn State going to 6-0 on the year, and the Moccasins of UTC dropping to 2-4 on the year. and they are 0-3 on the road. The forward player of the game today is Penn State freshman Calvin Booth. Booth was all over the paint defensively. He had 8 block shots in the game, tying a school record. You see the block there. He also had 16 points in the contest, along with unofficially 7 rebounds. Booth spinning, displaying the nice shooting touch, great left-handed touch from the baseline. Very solid performance by Calvin Booth today. He also hit 4 of his 5 free throws. Let's go out on the floor now where Bruce Parkhill is standing by with the freshman Calvin Booth from Reynoldsburg, Ohio.
Calvin, today seemed like the Calvin Booth show. You had it going today, didn't you, buddy?
A little bit, you know.
I'd say more than a little bit. You almost had a triple-double.
I don't know what I have.
I like that. You don't look at the stats, do you? You just go out there and play the game. What were your concerns going into this game, Calvin, as far as UTC?
Well, on tape, they looked like they had a very athletic team, and we need to box out and play good defense, keep them out of the paint. I think we did a pretty good job of that in the second half. In the first half, we let them get a few offensive rebounds, but we did better in the second.
I agree with you. I thought your defense was real solid. I didn't find that they got too many real easy looks at the basket all game. And you guys offensively had balanced scoring, and you started a lot of fast break opportunities with the old SWAT. It looked like the guys, Calvin, were really focused for today. Coming off a final, sometimes teams can be flat. It looked like you guys were focused.
Yeah, we've been practicing hard all week, and, you know, we just knew if we didn't win this game that the rest of the season didn't mean anything up to this point.
Well, I congratulate you on a great game. You did a great job, and keep it up, big guy.
All right, thanks.
Calvin Booth, the forward player of the game, an outstanding day for the Nittany Lions. As we mentioned, 16 points for Booth to go along with 8 block shots. That ties a school record. The Nittany Lions had an outstanding day offensively, great team balance, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. You see the final score, Penn State with a big win. We'll be back after this message from your local station.
Discover the amazing training secrets of America's finest baseball school with Dynamic Practice Organization, a revolutionary new instructional videotape. Dynamic Practice Organization features professional scout and instructor Tommy Mansky with his famous building block approach to athletic training. This exciting instructional videotape features the same drills, techniques, and methods that have produced baseball world's back-to-back-to-back AAU national championship teams. Dynamic Practice Organization makes any coach look like a genius and organizes offensive and defensive practices that players of all ages and ability levels can't wait to attend. And immensely improves team communication skills and even conditioning. This is the instructional video that's a winner. To order your copy for only $29.95, have your credit card ready and call toll-free 1-800-282-5020. The Dynamic Practice Organization teaching video makes a great gift, too. Call now, 1-800-282-5020.
Welcome back to Recreation Hall. The Penn State Nittany Lions only will play 2 more games in this building before moving into the Bryce Jordan Center on January the 11th. And Penn State going out of this building in style here in December of '95 with an 81-48 win today. They'll play Bucknell here on December 22nd, then Wisconsin on January 7th. Balanced scoring for Penn State today. Pete Lisicky leading the way with 18 points on 6 3-pointers. Glenn Sekunda and Calvin Booth had 16 points for the Nittany Lions, and Matt Gaudio with 10. Penn State came into the game with 5 players averaging in double figures. They also came into the game shooting better than 51% from the floor as a team. They shot better than 68% from the floor in the first half today, and they had an outstanding second half as well as they win at 81-48. Jerry Dunn, his first year as head coach of the Nittany Lions, as was mentioned, he's 6-0 overall. And let's go out to Bruce Parkhill, who's standing by with Jerry Dunn.
JD, you got it going, buddy. 6-0. This is easy, isn't it?
I'll tell you what, it's looking pretty good right now, but I'm not sure if we're as good as we're playing. But I think the guys came out to do a job today. And, you know, when you have finals, you're not really sure what's going to happen because their minds are on academics, which is where it should be. But I think the guys came out ready to play today, and they did some good things defensively.
Well, I agree with you, Jerry. I think the team has played solid defense all year. And obviously Calvin had a huge game. But I think that the solid defense really prevented UC Chattanooga from getting good looks at the basket, which made life tough for them, especially as young as they are. But tell me about your offense. How do you feel about that?
Well, you know, we really didn't get a chance to see that much of a man offense. I thought we did a decent job when we had to run a basic man offense, but against the zone, I thought we were a little timid. We weren't as aggressive as I thought we should have been running our zone offense, but they ran some triangling 2 and some boxing 1, and we ran our man offense against that, which I thought we did a pretty decent job of.
Yeah, I agree. Mack said that he was going to try some junk against Pete, try to get him out of sync a little bit. I don't think anything they did got Penn State out of sync today. How do you feel about the scoring balance so far this year?
Well, I'm pretty pleased with it, Bruce. You know, I feel that we've got to have 5 guys in double figures, and we've got to have some guys coming off the bench doing a job for us night in and night out, because there are going to be some times when people are going to try to take Lisicky out of the game, and we got to be prepared for that.
Well, I agree, and it looks like you have weapons almost all over the court. If certain guys use good discretion in their shot selection, you've got some guys who can shoot the 3, but you also have some guys inside who can hurt people.
Yeah, you're right about that. I think one of the biggest things going into the season was we had to establish our inside game. I think with Calvin playing the way he is now and Matt back, it really makes a big difference. And I think Jeremy comes off the bench and brings us a different look to our inside game. And if we can keep those guys playing solid, I think we're going to be in decent shape.
Well, I agree. I think you're off to a great start. And, you know, Jeremy has had some injuries. And if you can get a power guy like that to back up Calvin, you've really got a nice 1-2 punch in the middle, don't you?
We do indeed.
Well, Jerry, you've done a great job so far. I'm really happy for you, buddy. Keep it up.
Thank you very much. I had a great tutor.
Go back to Frank now.
Bruce Parkhill and Jerry Dunn, 2 guys who coached together for so long, and of course everyone excited to see this team get off to the great start thus far in 1995-96, and Jerry Dunn has his team off to a 6-0 start with a very impressive win today. We'll be back with more in Rec Hall after these messages from your local station.
Dear Midas, I was expecting twins and waited until the last minute to shop for car seats. Then I learned that Century car seats were available through Midas's Project Safe Baby. Bill explained,
They're only $42 each, our cost. And when you give them back, we'll deduct the cost for your next repair.
The next day, I went into the hospital, and a few weeks later, my twins came home in comfort, safety, and style. This letter is long overdue. Thank you.
George of Peach.
This season, when you're looking for great Sixers action and they're on the road, look to Sports Channel for exclusive away game coverage. Hit the road with the Sixers as they showcase new faces and returning stars. They may just catch their opponents off guard. So when you're home and the Sixers aren't, find great basketball action on Sports Channel. The Sixers home away from home. The Sixers battle the Minnesota Timberwolves tonight at 6 o'clock, exclusively on Sports Channel.
Welcome back to Rec Hall. You see the final score and a big win for the Penn State Nittany Lions today, 81-48. Outstanding shooting again for the Nittany Lions as a team. They shot better than 52% from the floor. And UTC had their problems, Bruce, shooting the ball today. As a team, the Moccasins shooting less than 33% from the floor. You cannot win on the road when that happens.
It's really difficult, Frank. I think you have to credit Penn State's solid defense for that. I think they've been playing solid defense all year. And that'll obviously be a key for them as they continue their move into the Big Ten schedule. But also a factor may be UTC's youth and experience. And they'll be back. I think they'll do well in the Southern Conference. But right now, I really like the way Penn State's playing.
Penn State with great balance today. When they pushed the ball up the floor, they ran it well. When they ran the half-court offense, they seemed to show great composure and patience. A guy like Pete Lisicky got hot a couple of times, would string together a few, but very few bad shots were taken. The team really seemed to be loose and on a nice roll, and Lisicky led the way with 6 3-pointers.
You know, I love the way Penn State's looking for each other. You know, they have guys who would pass up an opportunity. For example, right here, there's Pete on a wide-open opportunity, knocked it down. They had a lot of opportunities or situations where guys gave the ball up and looked for the open man, and that's why you have to play.
There seemed to be a real good flow to the game, both offensively and defensively. Smooth play by Calvin Booth, who, as we mentioned, did have 8 block shots today to go along with 8 rebounds and his 16 points. And he really is an athlete. You look at a guy that is that thin, and sometimes you think that maybe he's not as athletic as some other players, but he runs the floor well. He is an athlete, a tough competitor. He's the total package.
He's going to be a great player. And when you're looking at UTC's perspective, geez, it's kind of tough for them to get it going, and then sometimes when they do penetrate, you have Calvin Booth back there throwing it away, and it generates offense for the Nittany Lions, and it makes it tough for the opponent to get things going.
Penn State an excellent second half defensively as UTC really struggled to score in the second half, and poor shooting had a great deal to do with that. You see the field goal percentage numbers there, and the three-point numbers really stick out as well. Penn State, the best three-point shooting team in the country right now. Bruce, they hit 10 of 16 today.
Frank, that's awesome. If they keep that up, I'll tell you, they're going to go a long way. And I hope they stay healthy, because I see them really gelling as a team now, and as I said earlier, looking for each other. They keep knocking down the three, and they get some inside production from the big guys. They're going to be very good.
The Nittany Lions win it going away, 81-48. We'll be back with more after these messages from your local stations.
Discover the amazing training secrets of America's finest baseball school with Dynamic Practice Organization, a revolutionary new instructional videotape. Dynamic Practice Organization features professional scout and instructor Tommy Mansky with his famous building block approach to athletic training. This exciting instructional videotape features the same drills, techniques, and methods that have produced baseball world's back-to-back-to-back AAU national championship teams. Dynamic Practice Organization makes any coach look like a genius and organize offensive and defensive practices that players of all ages and ability levels can't wait to attend. And immensely improves team communication skills and even conditioning. This is the instructional video that's a winner. To order your copy for only $29.95, have your credit card ready and call toll-free 1-800-282-5020. The Dynamic Practice Organization teaching video makes a great gift, too. Call now, 1-800-282-5020.
Back in Rec Hall, the Penn State Nittany Lions continue to...
in Atlanta. And Peekaboo Street of the United States won today's downhill phase at the World Alpine Ski Championships in Sierra Nevada, Spain. Street, who established herself as the top woman downhill skier in the world last year, took the lead in the two-event competition. That's all the time we have for this edition of New Sport Tonight. My name is Steve Cashel. Thanks for watching, and have a great weekend, everyone.
Until now, you've never seen the whole story of war, because no one's ever told the whole story before. The technology and bravery, the sacrifices and atrocities, the power and the horror of 100 years of war. The complete history of the conflicts, wars, and rebellions of the 20th century. The century of warfare. The definitive visual record of modern war, exclusively from Time Life Video. Be there at every major battle in the midst of action you've never seen before. You'll see for the first time rare footage from behind enemy lines. You'll finally get the whole picture. The Century of Warfare is available nowhere else. It's not in any store. Call now and start with Air War. See what the pilots saw in World War II and find out how close we came to losing the battle for Europe's skies. Now you can get the facts behind every conflict of our century, from war at sea to Iron Curtain to Vietnam. From the beginnings on up to yesterday's headlines, madmen past and present, and unbelievable gallantry under fire. Never before has the entire history of modern conflict been brought together in one comprehensive series. The Century of Warfare from Time Life. It's 100 years of combat footage from both sides with action you've never seen before. Call now and start with Air War for only $4.99. No other documentary about war is so complete, and you can't get it in any store. So call now before it's too late.
To order your Century of Warfare Air War video, call 1-800-230-9988. That's 1-800-230-9988. Call now. Or send $4.99 plus $3.49 shipping to Century of Warfare, Department 4, Richmond, Virginia, 23280.
News Sport, your source for 24-hour sports news and information. News Sport.
Welcome to yet another edition of the Core State's John Lucas Show. My name is Tom McGinnis, your host, and along with the head coach and general manager of the Philadelphia 76ers, John Lucas. And Coach, once again, a lot has transpired since we met here a couple of weeks ago. Touch on, if you will, the latter half of January '96, the second quarter of the complexion of the schedule, as you refer to it. And, of course, there was a lot of speculation.
Turmoil going on.
Yeah, I mean, you broke down the schedule into 4 parts earlier, this being the second quarter, as I mentioned. A lot of speculation during this period and some tough defeats, 9 straight losses. Just kind of touch on all of that.
Well, I think that, we thought that there might have been, our owner was contemplating a coaching change. It really had us in a little bit of a turmoil there for a minute. And then Vernon Maxwell got into a little bit of trouble from a court case before the season started for not following what he was supposed to have done. And we beat Vancouver in a good home win. We've really been playing much better basketball. We don't have enough as far as depth on our bench, and we're trying to probably play. A bench is probably playing a lot more than probably what it should be, and the guys have really played hard, and we get worn down in some games. But I think overall we're getting better, and it just hasn't showed up in the wins-loss columns. But we have made some significant growth.
Let's go back a little bit to, as you talked about, the potential of a coaching change. There was a lot of media speculation, and it had to be difficult for you because, as we know at practice every day and before games, the media comes to you and they ask for a response, and yet at the same time you were trying to push forward and work on basketball. And I talk about holding your composure. That was probably the best, I mean, you really did in that situation.
Well, that's something that's out of my control. I try to move forward. We address it with our players. I really appreciate the players' response and the guys that are in the city, for people who wanted me to stay around and continue to coach. I really enjoyed that. But we have a bigger picture. I would never do anything that I felt like if I was jeopardizing the organization and make us move forward. As far as our players, I thought we came out and played well. Sharon Wright hurt himself, and he's missed about 5 games. Dirk Coleman still isn't back, and then Scott Williams, we now have found out, is out for the whole season. And so the second 20 games, I thought we made some strides, but we had anticipated having Dirk Coleman in those second 20 games, and we haven't had him, and we didn't have Sharon in that stretch, and what could have been bad luck has turned out to be bad luck for us.
We'll talk a little bit more about Derek and some of the positive, because great play right now by Clarence Weatherspoon, and Sean Higgins has played well off the bench. Let's, though, go back to Vernon Maxwell for a second, John. As you say, it was a pre-existing condition prior to his time as a member of the 76ers. Now, though, there's a little follow-up, and you've laid down some ground rules, and thus far it seems as though Vernon's stepped up and followed and towed the line a little bit.
Well, that's because it's still fresh in his mind. We have to see how he continues to progress and then get in compliance with whatever the judge wanted and what he was supposed to do in his probation to pre-sentencing of his marijuana charge that was early. Hopefully we can help him do more to help him stay in compliance. But that's the Vernon Maxwell thing. We're not in the business of rehabbing people. That's the business that they have to take care of themselves, especially those things. If you can't be that responsible for yourself, then there's a problem. But we're going to try to help in that area to see that he gets the continuum care that he's supposed to get to follow up with what he needs to do for the court systems in Texas.
You've made the comment that he is one of the only players on your team that you feel has played with NBA-type intensity every night out. Another guy that would have to qualify is Spoon. He has racked up some double-doubles throughout the course of the last few weeks. He has really been your go-to guy of late.
Well, Spoon has been playing very, very well, and we put the ball in his hands about 35 times a game. There's another level inside Clarence Weatherspoon that I'm trying to get to, a second and third effort. He gives good first effort, but it has got to be a second and third effort from him. So I'm a little more critical of Spoon because I think there's so much more inside of him that we've yet to been able to tap. But yes. I really like what he's done. He's had a lot of double-doubles. I think it could be even better if he would read double teams quicker. He's passing the ball out of traps a lot better. He's on his way. He's made some significant gains.
One of the jobs of a coach, and that is to bring a guy to another level. Another player familiar with second and third efforts is Earvin Magic Johnson. He's back. He's playing with the Los Angeles Lakers. We'll hear from John Lucas about Buck and more when we come back.
You know us. We're Core States Bank. But you may not know about our new Core States check card. See? Looks like a credit card. But it's not, because it works like a check, only easier. The amount you spend wherever you see a Visa sign is automatically deducted from your checking account. So there's no bill at the end of the month. Ever. Is that easy or what? Sign up for your Core States check card today. Oh, I forgot. The card that works like a check, only easier.
Was it good?
It was better than that.
How good?
The best.
What did you like the most?
The excitement.
I can't imagine how it can get any better.
I can.
Oh, how's that?
We could do it again. Trump's Castle Casino Resort. Once is never enough.
If it fits a little better. If it holds up a little longer. If it feels a little more comfortable. Don't be surprised. We've had a little practice. It takes a little more to make a champion.
Health South should always be a member of your team. Our renowned sports medicine experts have helped superstar athletes like Bo Jackson rebound from injury and achieve peak performance. But we don't simply cater to the professionals. Whether you're a high school player, a college athlete, or a sports enthusiast, Health South provides the sports medicine expertise you need. With Health South on your team, you'll maintain the winning edge. For the facility nearest you, call 800-765-4772.
Showtime has returned. The Magic is back. Earvin Magic Johnson returned to the Los Angeles Lakers, a little bulkier, a little heavier, and to a new position. John, you mentioned when we visited last time in this forum that Michael Jordan's return to the game was great for the game, the fact that he has pumped up a lot of energy. Magic Johnson fits really under the same category, true?
Well, it gives us an East-West rivalry now because Magic been back in L.A. and Michael in Chicago. And it gives it the East and the West looking toward the finals. It could possibly be Chicago or the Lakers, and I think that's one thing that's really good. But when Chicago played them Friday, it wasn't even close, and they didn't even have all of the players. So I think it's good for basketball. I just worry about Magic's health and that he's speeding up the process of his virus to kick in by playing so many minutes. And so I know he's heavier. He's 27 pounds heavier. And maybe he can limit his minutes. But it's good for the game of basketball, and what a great motivational piece he can be for those who suffer from that virus.
There is a lot